Guys, the auditions for the 2026 season of DCI are fast approaching, so I decided to ask some of my friends to give their best advice on how to audition for drum corps. So without further ado, I've asked some of the very best performers in Color Guard to give their best advice. So here is the official guide to auditioning for Color Guard in DCI 2026.
My name is Emma Vaca. I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I recently moved to Austin, Texas.
My name is Allison Roush. I'm originally from Mishawaka, Indiana, and I am the director of Newcastle Color Guard and Washington Color Guard.
So my name is Piper Click. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, but I'm going to school at the University of Alabama. I'm currently a junior, and I'm majoring in kinesiology with a concentration in exercise science. I have done the Blue Devils Color Guard from 2022 to 2025, and I have one more summer. Next year's my age out, but that's all I've done.
So I started my career with Penn High School scholastically, and then I went on to do Boston Crusaders 2023, 2024, and then this past summer 2025.
I've been marching at the Bluecoats since 2022, and so forth. Ironically, I didn't do a lot of prep, which may not be, the way some people think about it. I had enough information that I knew the technique exercises, and that was it. That's the prep that I did.
So the first audition I did for Blue Devils was actually a satellite audition, and it was in Dallas, and I had to come up with kind of an individual little routine. And so I had to prepare that before my first one. Going into November, I honestly didn't really do much prep. I kind of just worked on technique and stuff, but there was nothing that we had to learn prior, which I know some corps will send out stuff, but ours we all learned there. So I kind of just had to trust my prior knowledge and hope that I retained all the information I received while I was there in that one weekend.
I put in so much work, actually. I remember staying after school every single day. There was one day I remember actually staying after school for about 7 hours, just only working on technique. Yeah, because I knew you know what, anyone can do these kind of tricks. That's not really special. What's special is if you can stand with your feet together and toss a perfect toss and then catch it. That's what they're going to look for, So that's what I did.
At the time, I was a junior in high school, so my weapon experience wasn't all that kind of extravagant. So I mainly focused on weapon because I knew that was not my strong suit, and I didn't know honestly if it was required or anything, which it ended up not being, which was great. But I mean, I still wanted to make sure that I was at my highest potential going in, and I kind of watched old BD videos and tried to figure out kind of what they did and how they tossed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just be more open with the people around me. I kind of was very much I have to lock in. I can't talk to anybody, because I'm competing with them for a spot. And I wish I just would have embraced those friendships more and realized that wow, there's people from Japan here. There's people from Thailand here, and there's people from all over the entire world. And I should just focus on those connections because no matter what, I know that I'm going to march somewhere. That's not going to be the problem. It's just a matter of where. And I just wish I would have, gotten those friendships a little bit earlier, but it happened in the end. It happened eventually.
I would say for the Bluecoats, and in my experience and perspective, is that the technical proficiency is important. I'm never going to negate that to be technically proficient is important. However, they were also, Bluecoats has their own technique, the same way that the Boston Crusaders have their own technique, and Santa Clara and Vanguard, and so forth. Each group has their preferences for how to toss, how to catch, how to count, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And so Bluecoats will teach you their technique. And, to be technically proficient, they can teach you that. But to have artistic nature and to have musicality, in internal tempo, and be able to hear a piece of music and how that, affects your emotions and how you're going to present those emotions to an audience is way more important. Because the staff can teach you what your hands need to do and teach you what your feet need to do, but they can't teach you how to perform. They can't teach you how to feel music.
I mean, knowing that everyone around you is just as nervous is kind of always a good mindset to have. I think knowing what your strengths are and like really trusting yourself in that areas and knowing that like everyone has a weak spot and is not going to be perfect at everything. So for me, like I was a dancer my whole life, so I knew when that dance block came around, like I went to the front and was confident in that. And then during weapon, I maybe pushed to the side or the back to like be able to watch people and stuff. So I think kind of knowing that, but also just trying to be as confident as possible in everything, even if I was internally like freaking out and did not trust myself at all, like just trying not to show that and just kind of trying to trust the prior training.
I would say the people that come to audition and are open-minded and are welcoming and positive, those are the types of people that at an audition are very important, because the staff, they're going to give you corrections. They're going to also try to help you learn the choreography as best as you can and do the technique as best as you can. It's not just you're out on your own doing your, like, we're gonna go through and they're gonna give you corrections and they're gonna try to help you as well. Like, this is a learning experience. And so to be able to take a correction or take input from friends and being like, okay, cool, like I'm trying to better myself. And so I think, yeah, to be open-minded, to remain teachable, and find the confidence within yourself of like, I deserve to be here, and so does everybody else. You have to remain humble at the same time.
I think it's just wanting more. I think it's as simple as that. That moment for me was realizing like I'm kind of at the top of the ladder of what I can accomplish at my high school. And I was just finished my junior year when I auditioned for Boston, and it was just that knowledge that like I'm at the top here. And I remember telling my high school director, I want to go somewhere where I am the absolute worst on the team, because that means that's a whole new ladder to climb. So
Honestly, you kind of don't, I feel like, especially if you want to audition when you're really young. I was not prepared to audition for BD right away. My dad was kind of like, the worst they can say is no, might as well get the experience. And then I ended up getting a contract, so it kind of worked out. But I had not really mentally prepared to like do drum corps, even though I was auditioning for it. I did not even know what I was getting myself into, really. I just kind of wanted the experience and put myself out there, and then it kind of worked out in my favor.
I would say practice counting your the peak of your rotation is one of the best things I ever tell my students. Is if you start counting the peak of your rotation, that's how you can automatically know if it's over, under, and that's how you can start locking into that perfect every time.
Especially for the blue coats, like dancing is really important. Knowing how to move your body, having some body awareness of like where you are in space.
Everyone at Boston can spin a weapon pretty much if you're auditioning, but if you can't spin a flag, it's kind of like a no-brainer for them. So that's something that I really value about Boston as well, is they take the people that are like all arounds. Like, you have to dance, you have to spin a weapon, and you have to spin a flag. And I think that's really, really valuable.
Yeah, I think it's interesting at November camp, we learned part of the previous summer's show, and the vets are pretty much the ones that teach it to you. You pretty much get split into groups, and vets will teach you previous summers, like little excerpts of different pieces of equipment. But I haven't been to another corps audition, but I don't think any other corps really does that.
I would say someone coming in first time, blue coats, auditions, and they're like, what am I going to do? I'm like, be ready to dance, be ready to move, because whether if you're holding a flag or a saber or a rifle or a paisley or whatever they decide to put in our hands, a mylar flag, a streamer, who knows, like, you're going to be dancing with it. It may be in your hands, but that's dance choreography for your hands as much as it is for the rest of your body. Everything is a full body experience. Absolutely 100%.
Oh, it is so worth it.
I definitely think so. I literally was not planning to do BD. I knew it was like the end goal, but I was not planning to start there at all. And my dad's an alumni, so he was kind of the one that really pushed for me to just do it. And he literally told me like worst they can say is no.
There's, you know, your circle of like what you're comfortable with, and then there's the uncomfortability. And when you push yourself outside of that comfortability circle is when you grow. And so going to a top dog, you know, drum corps and auditioning and just putting yourself out there, you're expanding that circle, that inner circle, past your uncomfortability. And that's when you'll grow as a person and as a performer.
I did it when I was 17 years old, a junior at high school. I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew, actually, my first drum corps that I ever watched was that summer. I'd never seen a video, and it doesn't matter if you are from the tiniest town in America, they will still consider you if you have, you know, that work ethic, not even talent, just work ethic. It is 100% worth it, and I've seen so many people do it with no experience, so.
I have a lot of friends that kind of have asked me this question, and I usually tell them to go kind of do their research, because I feel like each corps, specifically for guard, has very different writing styles, especially if you like know color guard and know all the different things. Like, for example, BD and Boston, very different writing styles, but both like very good. So I kind of just tell them to go look at videos, or like people on Instagram that you know have posted like videos of their show, and kind of figure out whose choreo you think you would kind of fit in best with, or like have the most fun with spinning, and then kind of go from there. Maybe ask people like their personal experiences and stuff like that, but mostly just doing research and trying to figure it out from the outside.
It takes a village. And I'm not saying that you have to have somebody else pay for your drum corps, but village as in scholarships. And there are people that do want to help you. And I think a lot of people feel stuck of like, they don't want to ask for help or apply for scholarships because they're like, I need to do this all on my own. But it's like, it's just not possible. If you're in school full time, even if you're working full time, you're working 2 jobs or whatever it is, like, it is just expensive, and that's the reality. And so be able to remain humble and know that there are people that are going to want to help you. There are going to be other organizations that provide scholarships that want to be able to help you. You just have to ask for it. And a lot of people just don't get to that next part. They're like, oh, well, I just don't know. I'm like, you never know unless you ask. The same way you never know if you'll get a contract unless you audition. When you're at the audition, they will usually tell you, at least at the Blue Coats, when to hear back, a general estimate.
You usually get an email a couple weeks after, whether it's November or April. Usually in November it's the emails, and it will either be cut, and you'll probably get like a little bit of feedback, a callback, which would send you to April camp, or just a straight contract.
What I really like about Boston is they let you know then and there. You know, we do the audition camp in April specifically, and you have, you know, you're wearing a number the whole weekend, and then they bring everyone in and they talk about their reasoning, and they're like, okay, outside we have 2 lists, and here's the numbers that made it, here's the numbers that didn't, and if you did not make it, you will be talking with our staff about possibly going to other corps. So they give you options, which I really, really like about them, and they help you find out, because they want everyone to have a home. So like the staff is very, very good with that. So
just be confident, go for it. You never know what's going to happen. Don't tell yourself no before they tell you no. I feel like a lot of people kind of go in with the, I don't think I'm going to make it mindset, but you literally never know. If you put yourself out there and show off your abilities and you're super confident, no matter what, no matter how you're actually feeling, you never know how it's going to turn out. So just kind of go for it and see what happens.
Remember your why. Why did you even start marching band? Why did you start color guard? Why did you join whenever you joined? Why? Why are you doing it? And why are you now putting yourself in an even more vulnerable position to do it for drum corps at such a high level, and at such an extreme level? You have to remember your why. And so I think that's why I knew that I wanted to at least try when I first auditioned, is because I was like, I love this and this is fun. And that is my why, because I love doing it and I have fun doing it.
I would just say don't give up. Like, just keep trying. You might not get there at first, but you will always end up somewhere and you'll always be getting that experience. And no matter where you march, the people there are going to be like, they're going to be family, and you will never ever forget those connections for as long as you live. I still have the contacts on my phone from 2023 and I text them quite frequently. So never stop trying, ever.
I would say Bluecoats 2019, the Bluecoats is one of my favorite shows, because they had such a fun time performing, and you could see that.
I'm gonna have to say BD 2017, iconic show, so good in every aspect ever.
Okay, I like that. I'm always
yeah.
gonna like that answer for sure.
I want to say probably Wicked Games. It was just such an iconic show, and I probably watch it like 10 times every single like Halloween. Like, literally, it's so much fun to watch.
Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully some of that advice was helpful to you in your journey with auditioning. And once again, thank you to Piper, Emma, and Allison for all of your great advice and your time. Appreciate it. If you guys want to go follow them, I'll have their links in the description. But thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.